All right, let's talk about laminated doughs. So a laminated dough really consists of two parts. One is the de trempe, which we did yesterday. Let me pull that out. It's my puff pastry. And the other part of it is the barrage. And the barrage is French for a butter dough or butter packet. So we have our de trempe, which we will roll out into a basic rectangle. I'm going to try to get it 12 by 12. And then I have my butter, which is going to be my barrage. And now it just so happens that this recipe is going to use a pound of butter, 16 ounces of butter, so we have the right amount. So for the barrage, I had this butter out for a few hours, and it was in my garage, which is colder than the rest of my house. So this butter is really pretty soft, but it's not really squishy soft. See, it's a little bit pliable. So what I want to do, my goal here is I want to make an even size packet that is the same size as this wrapper right here. So the wrapper for me is kind of a good size to go for. So I'm going to put a little bit of flour on here. We don't need a whole lot. Really, we want flour on there to kind of keep it from sticking, and to help it get in the shape that we want it. Now, we're going to be beating this a little bit, and it's going to make a little bit of noise. So one of the things that I like to do is, some instructions will say plastic wrap or between parchment paper that will pound it and roll it to get it to this shape and work it. But I find that plastic wrap doesn't work very well. This is a 1 gallon baggie that I've cut the top off of and down the sides, and it's a little bit thicker. When we're at school, I use the bags that we take stuff home in that comes in the roll, the big plastic bag. So I'm using my big rolling pin. This is probably the biggest rolling pin I have that doesn't have the side handles. So we're getting there. So I'm going to take this and just do a little bit more flour in there. All right. So again, my end goal is to kind of get it the same size as the butter wrapper. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to roll it a little bit. See? As I roll it, now I can really get it up into the corners and square it off the way that I want it. All right. So we're doing pretty good here. I like this shape. All right. Trying to square it off a little bit. All right. So there's my barrage. Make sure that it's even. And I'm going to set that to the side for just a minute. Now I go for my dough. So I have over here, I have my bowl and I have my bench brush ready because we want flour to keep things from sticking, but we don't want a lot of flour getting trapped in the layers or more flour than we've already put in there. All right. So when I roll things, I turn them frequently to make sure that nothing is sticking to the table. And also to help me get a nice even roll. So now, what I'm doing is I'm using my rolling pin to kind of square things off, get them really close. And now, I think we're going to be okay with this right here. It's a little bit dry right in there. Didn't get it quite mixed quite enough. So, all right. So, here's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to take my barrage and I want to do something like that. So, save these. I'll tell you why in a minute. All right, so now I'm going to take these corners, and this is my encasement. And I want to manipulate it a little bit so I don't have much empty space with the butter. And I don't have an overlapping seam. All right, but we do want it closed completely. All right, let's get this one up here. All right, it's almost like an envelope kind of thing. So I'll do this. So one of the critical things here is you want your butter and your dough to be the same consistency. If your butter's too hard, when you go to roll it, your butter will crack and it breaks, and we don't want that. So this is now encased. So I'm going to square it up really nice. All right. And I'm going to make sure I have some flour on here, and I'm going to fold it over like this. So here I'm going to do the first turn. I've done the encasement, so now I'm going to roll it out this way, and I'm going to do what's called a book fold or a simple fold, which is a 3-fold. All right, so it does help to do this before you roll, because it kind of sets everything in there. And then we'll roll it smooth. See the pushing down, see I'm kind of chasing a little bubble here. I don't want that to show up later. There we go. All right. So now, it's too thick right there. Now I want to square my dough up again. All right. So now my butter is in there, and I'm going to do my first turn. This puff pastry is going to get 3 turns. So I don't want to trap excess flour in there. I push it off. I bring it over there. keeping it square. Keep these edges lined up, and then keep this one straight. You want all these lines to be straight. Now this one comes up like that. Again, keep all your lines straight. Okay. So there you go. That is encasement plus one turn. So what we do now is I have my sheet pan. I have a labeled croissant because I'm doing another laminated dough as well. And to remind myself how many turns this is already have, I do one of these. I put my thumbprint in it. I have one little dimple. So if I'm working multiple doughs, I know that this dough has had one turn. So I'm going to take this dough, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, covered. I'm going to let it rest for about 20 minutes. And then I'm going to pull it back out, and I'm going to repeat that process. I'm going to turn it like this. I'm going to roll it out this way this time. Last time we rolled it this way and folded it. Now we're going to roll it this way and fold it. We're going to do another 3-fold. We'll put 2 dimples in the next one, put it in the fridge, bring it back out, and repeat it one last time. Try to arrange your time to do all 3 turns at the same time, more or less. So you do turn 1, 20 minutes, bring it out, do turn 2, back in the fridge for 20 minutes. And the reason you want to do all 3 turns kind of in one consecutive pattern like that is if you leave this dough in the refrigerator for too long, the butter's still kind of thick. The butter will completely solidify if it's in the refrigerator too long. And then when we go to roll it out, the butter doesn't stretch, it breaks. And then we get kind of this leopard look on the outside, and it's not nice and even like this dough is here. So watch your time.